So Pastor Solange did the live video explaining, or the video of Pastor Solange after coming back from being kidnapped. This is what we want to talk about on this video. Now, first of all, I'm going to record this video just a little bit quick because my devices are going to die. We had a power outage. The power came back, but for 15 minutes, and then it went off. And you can hear the sound of my power station complaining that it's about to go off. So I wanted to record this video quickly, just in case you guys, I don't get power back. So you have this video tomorrow. I'm going to schedule it so that it uploads, because it doesn't look like the power is going to be on, and I don't think I'm going to have a battery later on. So quick one. The video did feel rushed. Of course, maybe they said that they had technical difficulties. The audio was not that good. And so it just felt a little bit off. The video that they made felt off. Now, I never said anything about whether I doubted it or from the beginning, but after they did the video, it just felt like social media. It really did feel like just social media. There was no urgency to it. Maybe I was looking at it wrong, but I never had that thought that maybe it's not real. Okay, and personally, I've not followed Pastor Solange's messages or anything like that. I've not watched much of his stuff, and so like I constantly saw people like maybe that way would Shiri go to him and stuff like that. So I've never really watched his stuff, but this video, it just felt off. It felt, yeah, it didn't, like for instance, I'll give you one of the examples. Not one. One of the examples was, he had a tablet, right? And so I thought maybe he was going to read a statement of maybe what happened and stuff like that. The only thing he explained in what he was reading was the time he was taken, what they were doing at church when that happened, and then they immediately went to a few details about it, like they did a ransom. They had the robbers had the kidnappers had a number that they couldn't raise, but then they raised another number for ransom, and they were able to give them that. And then after that, he talked about being released, and then he immediately switched to speaking in his language. The total video was like 16 minutes, and he spoke for a detailed time of about maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes max in English. Then he went to speaking in his language, and that's where he really focused. He focused a little bit more on his language, and then that pretty much was it. Now, why do I say that part, those particular elements are just off? Like, remember, I didn't have that thought, Uri. This maybe staged. And I'm not saying that now. I just find it hard to stomach what was being said there. First of all, he mentions that they paid the kidnappers, right? Did they pay under the instruction of the relevant authorities? And by the way, when the statement came out, they said that they had given the information of his kidnapping to the relevant authorities. So already that sounds a bit like something that the kidnappers would not allow you to do. Okay? If we are in negotiation, they gave him a number, right? If they gave them a number for ransom, and they haven't been paid the number of the amount for ransom, and you make a statement that you were kidnapped, and in the statement you say you have given the information to the relevant authorities. So the statement that they pulled out that I read to you today, yesterday, from the time you're watching this video. The criminals would not allow you to do that, right? They would not allow you to be communicating with authorities while they are talking to you about ransom. They'll kind of like try and keep it hush, don't talk to nobody. But when they put out the statement, they said they told the relevant authorities. So if they've told the relevant authorities, and at the same time you were discussing ransom, it just doesn't look like, especially with the fact that they then go to mention he was dropped off. They didn't touch him or nothing. A lot of times when they give ransom, they will beat the person and send a clip or a video of him beaten to the people who they send the ransom. Okay? Maybe not all the time. Maybe they'll just send a small little clip or something that shows that they have you. So that the people that, or maybe, you know what, it just felt off. Maybe that's not the case because they took him straight directly from them in the church. I don't know. Okay? So it just felt a little bit off. And for me, it just felt very social media like. But maybe that's because maybe I'm just used to social media too much. Okay? Or I've seen too much social media stunts. So maybe that's how I'm taking this one. And I hope I'm not being unreasonable here. So that particular part of it, that they were discussing a ransom, and you guys, you gave them a different amount to the ransom. The ransom that was intended was 15 million. They raised a certain sum. They can't tell us how much. So they settled for that ransom amount. And then that's pretty much as far as they spoke about that. Now, I don't remember much that he might have said about the authorities that were being told had the information now after the kidnapping. Like to say, did they come to follow up? Now that he's out, he's been released. I mean, like he was released in the morning. Did the relevant authorities? They haven't even acknowledged it. Okay? If it's the SAPS, if it's the Hawks, or if it's nothing, they haven't said, oh yeah, a pastor was kidnapped, we were given the information, and he's come back, and they haven't given any statement. So if there is such a statement, please do give it to us. Or there's something in here. Because why? Kidnappings are becoming very popular. People get kidnapped in their houses, or while they're going to work, or during a hijacking and stuff like that. So for there not to be anything, like nothing, nada, zero, it just felt a bit off. For me, it felt a bit offish because I was just not understanding. There's no statement on the other side. You guys were supposedly discussing with, and you are telling the kidnappers how much you're going to give them. They took that number. It's a large sum. They're just not going to mention it. Okay. And then there was also the mention of the 31st, the event of the 31st. This is another third thing that I thought was just a bit off, that a person who's recently been kidnapped, you immediately want to talk about events. This whole thing it just really did look weird. I'm just stating my point, and I'm not thinking in order here because I want to get this video as I'm thinking of it through. So that's another thing that just felt a little bit. They are mentioning the 31st event, blah 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 blah. Oh, that was kind of like one of the things that they mentioned inside there when they were speaking the English part before they went to the hijab. So those things did feel a little bit off. Then Okay, so the mention of the event. Another thing that felt off. After that mention, guys, am I overthinking what was being said there? Like, you've never, if you check the previous episode, I wasn't there busy like saying, oh yeah, it sounds staged. I wasn't saying none of that stuff. So this video was really the reason. The marks. So he had marks on his hand, like right on the back of his hand. Now, I'm a vendor. We used to play PDPC. PDPC? PDPC was this thing. There was even a saying in vendor. PDPC de chiron auto ditera. So, which means this particular thing that they would do, and particularly you put it right at the back of the hand, right there. So he had these marks here. Both the marks were here. Both of the marks were here. Now, you might say, okay, Ricky, what's off about that? He really wanted us to see the marks, that, he had marks showing that he was in cuffs for 14 days or however many days. That's why I say it felt very social media, like, I'm going to proof. Being kidnapped, there isn't so much that's why I said there wasn't an agency to the video. So if a person has marks, it's because of the tension of the cuffs, maybe applied by the pressure that's there, right? If you're tied to something and there is a bit of the cuffs are tightened a little bit to an angle, it may cause a mark, right? And the mark might be at a certain. So these marks are right here directly, like right here. So were he cuffed at the back of his hand, or how was he cuffed? Like, I watch a lot of police investigation videos, and so these are kind of like the things they would ask you: like, where were you cuffed? How were you cuffed? Were you sitting like this? Because then how you're sitting or how they cuffed you would explain the kind of marks. And so his marks were all at the same spot. So how was he cuffed? Was he cuffed around something, behind his back, to the front? So because those will tell you where the marks would likely go. But anyways, it felt very social media like. So when I saw those marks looked like PDPC. That's me. They look like PDPC. But hey, who am I? What do I know? So the video came out. They posted it out. They spoke about paying ransom, whatnot and stuff. Yes, there has been kidnappings where people will pay the ransom even though the investigations are going on. But the way everything is structured, it's not one thing. It's like just everything else that goes around it. So maybe that's just me. When you guys do finally see a statement that is made by the relevant authorities, as they said, I'll give an update. But until then, I would like to have seen that the relevant authorities would have acknowledged that there was a person like this who was kidnapped. He has been found, he has been returned, he's alive, but until then, there isn't that, right? So until then, there isn't a statement from the relevant authorities. They did state that they paid, but that's pretty much it. Apart from that, there is nothing else. He didn't say, did they blindfold him? How far did they drive him out? So that's what I was kind of like expecting that they would be talking about in the video. But again, my batteries are off. Last point here. They didn't mention that maybe to expect a detailed statement of what happened, or that the relevant authorities then will follow up with this or that. So it just did feel a little bit off, like with a lot of the points. But again, once the relevant authorities do kind of confirm this, or there's a case being opened or something, I'll give it as an update in passing. and then maybe we'll keep it there. But at the moment, the video just did really look weird, to say the least. But it's Ricky. My batteries are going off. I don't want to delay this video anymore. I'll see you on the later on. You can see the camera is already gone off, which means maybe we're running out of batteries over there. So it's Ricky. I'll see you all guys when the lights come back. At the moment, Eskom is doing its things.